Speaking of technology, regular viewers of my channel are probably aware that I got a box in the mail yesterday, in fact, and it contained a couple of new to me GoPros. They're not brand new GoPros, but they are brand new to me. And today is going to be the first field test of my life as a 2 GoPro person. They were sent to me by a viewer in the United States, Armando, and this is the new Armando GoPro Hero 7, and this is my original GoPro Hero 7. So I now have 2 of them, and in terms of how I'm going to use them, it probably won't make a huge difference to the videos themselves, because I think the main advantage for me having 2 GoPros like this, Andy sent me a second one I had. There was also a GoPro Hero 3 Plus in the box, but for today I'm only taking out the Hero 7 and my own Hero 7. But the main advantage to me having 2 GoPros is just having 2 GoPros. I can be out shooting with this one with the memory card and the battery on this mount, which I can then attach to this mount, so I can have everything set up for one purpose. And then if I want to switch to some other situation, instead of having to dismantle this whole thing and change all the mounting and put it somewhere else, I can just switch to the other GoPro. So I can be filming with 2 GoPros at the same time, using this one in one situation with this mounting system, you know, this hand grip, for example. And then I can suddenly switch to a second GoPro that is mounted on this Jaws Flex clamp, or it can be mounted on my 3-way grip. It can be mounted in several different ways, and I can just switch from one GoPro to the other without a huge hassle. And that can extend to changing the batteries. You know, the battery in this one dies. I don't have to stop in the middle of a muddy field in the hot sun and fiddling around with batteries and memory cards. I can just put this one away in my knapsack, take this one out, and it's ready to go because it has a fresh battery, fresh memory card. So that will just be a lot easier, a lot more efficient. And as much as I love GoPros, they are glitchy and you never quite know what is going to happen with one of them. So I may be out filming with this one and then suddenly it freezes, which happens a fair bit with GoPros, I'm afraid. At least in my experience. But instead of in the middle of whatever situation I'm in, fighting through it and trying to restart it and get it unfrozen, I just put it away, pop out this one, and it will not be frozen, and then I can just continue filming. So having 2 GoPros to me kind of means I can switch from one to the other mid-filming, as opposed to, you know, filming with 2 cameras at the same time, which I will probably do as well. That opens up some opportunities. For example, I was thinking that if I go to a beautiful temple, such as where I'm going today, I would normally be walking around with this GoPro, speaking into it, and then turning it around and filming some of the temple. But now with 2 cameras, I could put this one on a tripod somewhere, having a wide shot of the whole temple, capturing me as I walk around inside the temple with this camera. So in that situation, I can see getting 2 shots at the same time, and that might be quite interesting. And of course, the scooter is the most obvious place to use 2 GoPros simultaneously, and that's what I have them set up to do right now. This one has a buckle mount on it at the moment, so I'm going to mount this one on the front of the scooter, facing either forward or backwards. And then this one I have on the Jaws Flex clamp, so I'm going to mount this one lower down on the foot pegs on the back of the scooter, and this can be filming the road and the wheel of the scooter and objects sort of behind me or in front of me, a lower perspective. So I can film 2 different perspectives at the same time. So that is, a lot of fun having 2 cameras. I don't know how much I will do that because, to be honest, just making a video out of the video clips I film with one camera is challenging and time consuming, much more than one would think. And suddenly having video clips of the same experience from two different cameras and audio from two different cameras, and then putting together a single video, editing those two together, yeah, that's doubling, tripling, and quadrupling the amount of time and effort that would be required to merge, two perspectives of the same experience. It's hard enough having one perspective of one experience. Having two would be pretty challenging. I do plan on doing that, of course, but I think most of the time, as I said, I'll be using the two cameras at the same time, but switching from one to the other depending on the physical situation that I'm in. So that's what's going on today. You may not be aware that I'm shooting with two GoPros all day long, but I will be. For those that are super interested in behind the scenes kind of tech stuff, this is all the gear that's going into my knapsack today. And this is a bit unusual. I wouldn't normally carry this much stuff with me, but of course I will need my smartphone to find my way on Google Maps, and my Rode Wireless Go microphone, which will be mounted on my original GoPro Hero 7, and all of my accessories that I normally carry with me for this Hero 7 are in this zip pouch over here. And this is the new Armando Hero 7 Black, and it is mounted on the Jaws Flex clamp. And all of the accessories for this GoPro are currently in the box there that Armando used to send it to me. And eventually this will be merged into one package, of course. But for now, I'm keeping them separate just to keep track of old and new, like batteries and mounting systems, and just to keep it organized until I'm familiar with everything that I'm working with. And I have the gooseneck, which attaches to the Jaws Flex clamp to make it into a selfie stick. And I have this GoPro 3-way mount, which is very handy for walking around and talking. And it also has a built-in tripod system. And then you have the traditional GoPro mounts, millions of sticky mounts and adapters and clip-ons and screws and all the things. You don't need all of this for a GoPro. All this stuff I have here, you don't really need. You could probably just grab this and go and get everything done that I'm going to do today. But I am a bit of a technical guy, so I do love my gadgets. So maybe I end up with more stuff than the average person. But anyway, this is what's going with me today. This is going on the front of the scooter, this is going on the back of the scooter, and then all of this goes into my knapsack. Here is the scooter, as always, waiting and ready to go. And it's actually more ready than I am. Once again, I walked out of my guest room only half prepared. I feel like I spent the whole morning preparing, but when I went out here, I still forgot to bring my helmet, and I forgot to bring water. So I had to make 2 trips back to my room already to get the helmet and then get a bottle of water. I don't think I'll be gone that long today, but you never know. So what I'm doing with the cameras, as I said I was going to do, I've got Armando here down on the foot peg. So Armando is facing ahead, and I have that camera on super view. And I have my original GoPro. This is going to be mounted here on the top on this sticky mount facing forward. So that is what we're going to do. And I think I'm finally ready to go. All right, first time, 2 GoPros on the scooter, and I have them filming a little bit differently. The one on the front is in wide view. The one on the side, down on the foot peg, is in super view. So far things seem to be okay. The one issue I continue to have is the wind. I'm barely moving at any speed at all, but it seems so windy in my ears that it's hard to relax and just speak normally for the microphone. I end up wanting to shout really loudly. My landlady at the guest house was very excited to see me setting off on the scooter, and then she was doubly excited to see me put a GoPro on it. And then her excitement knew no bounds when she saw that I had 2 GoPros on the scooter. She seemed to be really interested in the cameras and in the technology in general. So maybe she is a woman who is full of surprises. I wouldn't have expected her to get so excited about a camera or me being on a scooter. But she wished me luck on today's adventures, even though she had no idea where I was going. I stopped at the side of the road to check on the video. Everything seems to be working fine. I like the super view from the right side foot peg, and the front mounted GoPro is more or less level. Not perfectly level, I don't think, but for now it's good enough. And I decided to move the Armando GoPro to the left foot peg. I'm not usually a fan of naming things. People that go on round the world bike trips, for example, or motorcycle trips, they always give their motorcycles names and cars names. And I guess I get it. The bike that I used on my big bike trips in Ethiopia and Guinea and other places, I called it the Beast. I never had a name for it, but it was such a big and heavy rig that I just naturally started to think of it as the Beast. So I guess I gave it a name. And Itchy Boots, her motorcycle, her original one that I know about is called Nora Lee or something like that. But the scooter that I owned in Taiwan, I never gave it a name. I think this scooter will remain nameless. I think it has to earn its name. And my new GoPro, the Hero 7, has earned its name, I think. Since it was a gift from Armando, it is now Armando the GoPro. But my original GoPro, the one up here on the front, I don't have a name for it. I notice that it's shaken off level already. There. Is that better? It would be nice if the scooter had a flat surface and I could just mount the GoPro on a flat surface and then it would always be level. Now I have it level, but it's not pointing straight ahead. It's a complicated business.
getting this GoPro to point straight ahead. So one of the many items I'd like to purchase now is a ball head, very small and lightweight tripod ball head that I can use with the GoPro. That would solve a lot of these problems. When I was checking the footage, I noticed that I captured the moment when my landlady was opening the gate for me. That was a nice gesture on her part, but it made me think that she didn't trust me, that I wouldn't be able to pilot the scooter safely out of the somewhat narrow opening. So she made it wider for me. When I was living in Taipei, it was quite normal to filter through the traffic at stoplights. At any stoplight like this, I would normally go between the cars and get to the very front, because in Taipei, I was faster than the car traffic. And it wasn't just speed, it was also safety, because one of the most dangerous things, I think, when you're on a scooter is being rear-ended. So I think sitting on your scooter behind a car is kind of dangerous at a traffic light, because a car coming up behind you might not see you or might not be careful enough, and they will actually rear-end you. So I thought it was safer to not wait in the line of cars, but filter to the front and get all the way to the scooter box at the traffic light. And I believe the way the traffic systems in Taipei were designed, you were intended to do that. You were supposed to go to the front of the traffic and wait in the scooter box. So that's what I always did. I'm still driving very slowly, mainly because I like to be able to relax and look around me. I'm currently going 40 kilometers an hour, which is super slow for Thailand. And I'm getting close to the point where I have to turn right. So I'm moving over to the right side. The last time I did this drive, I talked a lot about how I found out about this temple. The woman at the This Is a Book cafe told me about it and suggested that I go there when she found out that I was making YouTube videos. And we had quite an entertaining time as I tried to get information from her about the name of this temple and where it was located. And that information was not easy to come by. It actually took me several days on my own to finally track it down. And I'm still not 100% convinced that this is the temple that she was talking about. But still looks like an interesting place to go. Just for fun, I think I'm going to move Armando to a new perspective, just to capture a different point of view that I've never tried before. Okay, I've adjusted the angle on Armando. Armando is now pointing to the left, directly at the side of the road. I have no idea what that will look like, and I still have it on super view, so it might be too much curvature of the earth. And because I don't have any kind of a ball head arrangement, it's really hard to get it level, so it's probably not, the horizon is probably not level. The last time I came this way, I pointed out that the This Is a Book coffee shop is right up ahead on the right, and I discovered a new coffee shop on the left, quite a fancy place with a swimming pool. And the last time I tried to go to this temple, I thought I would stop at that coffee shop on my way back. But that trip ended up being so difficult, I was way too hot and sweaty and tired to go to the coffee shop. Here it is here. Ban Wang Coffee with the swimming pool. That's kind of cool. Armando probably caught some footage of that as I was driving past. I have the GoPro mounted on the foot peg, by the way. That's how I'm able to point it to the left. The next milestone on this trip is going to be the highway system. And it's actually no problem to get across the highway. It's just that the first time that I did it, I didn't know how to do it, or even if it was legal to do what I did. But I'm more sure of my ground now, so it shouldn't be such a problem. And when I see a clear spot up ahead, I'm going to stop and check the footage from Armando, see how it looks, and then switch Armando over to the other side, have it pointing in the other direction, to the right side of the road. Now we just passed by another checkpoint of some kind. A lot of men in uniform were sitting in the shade at the side of the road, but they didn't stop me or stop anyone else. And there you go. Now I have Armando pointed across the road and to the houses on the other side. That ought to be quite interesting. One thing, of course, is that if I want audio of my voice, I have to have both GoPros operational, because I can only hook up my microphone to one GoPro at a time. So I have my front-facing GoPro set up to record the audio, and then I have Armando just running by itself. It's using the built-in microphone, so the only sound it's going to capture is the sound of wind. It's a pretty nifty way to mount it though, because I have it on the Jaws Flex clamp, and it connects to the foot peg quite nicely. I wouldn't leave it there if I was going down a really rough road, but for smooth road like this, it grips quite tightly. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. I remember this spot on the road last time. That's one thing you have to be real careful of. That chunk of bumpy cement there, it is enough to cause a crash. If I hit that at speed, I definitely could crash. And here's another one. I mean, look how deep this pothole is. If you hit that at speed on a scooter, you're breaking the front rim of your wheel, you're crashing. So you can't take it for granted that the road ahead of you is smooth for the scooter. You have to keep your eye on the road at all times. Okay. Just made it to the main highway. And I don't know where this particular chunk of highway goes to the left, but where I need to go is to the right. We're slowly getting closer to the gravel quarry. It'll be quite interesting to see if I can make it through the quarry this time without incident. The last time I was here, there were a lot of trucks waiting at this stoplight. I don't see any today. I wonder why. Yesterday I went to Borderline for lunch, I contacted them to ask them if they were open, and they said, yeah, they were open, so no problem at all. And I went there and they were open, but it turns out because of the lockdown, they also had to do takeaway only. So I took my borderline lunch back to my guest house. Finally got off that highway. I wasn't driving fast, but that highway was heading straight into the wind, and it blew my face mask against my mouth so hard that I couldn't really speak. I couldn't really move my lips because the face mask was holding my mouth in place. Oh man, there's definitely something going on the other side of this road. I mentioned last time I was here that there's some kind of a park over there. There's the park and the pond, and I just noticed right across here there's an enclosure and there's a bunch of deer in there. I don't know what kind of deer, typical native deer from Thailand, I assume. But here we are at the gravel pit. There's the gravel quarry right up ahead. And yeah, it's closed today. I guess it's a holiday today, December 31st, last day of the year. And yeah, nothing going on. So will I be able to get through? We will find out shortly. Now we are getting super tricky because I have Armando mounted on the back of the scooter in super view facing backwards, but I'm still recording audio with the front GoPro that's facing forward. But of course that doesn't matter. As long as I have audio, I can attach it to either video track. And everything was going to be off balance right now because the scooter is parked and is leaning on its kickstand. But anyway, yeah, here in the just outside of the gravel quarry, and I'm just going to head into the quarry and find out whether I can fight my way through or not. I hope so. Oh, I see some people over there riding a scooter along a road. I wonder if I should try that direction first. Maybe I turn. Oh, look at that. I see a sign right ahead of me with an arrow pointing to the right. This must be the road. Huh. I never noticed it last time. I mean, it's in Thai, of course. I'm in Thailand, so the sign is in Thai. And I didn't even see it last time. Again, because Google Maps told me to drive through the gravel quarry and then go out the other side. And that, as I said, I was totally unable to do. But it looks like the road is right here before you go into the quarry. Would have been so simple. I can see all kinds of signs now. There's a sign on the left, 2 signs on the right, and that's clearly where you go. And that clearly makes more sense than risking your life driving through a gravel quarry like I did last time. You don't even have to go into the quarry. You turn right before you go into the quarry. Mystery solved. So I will be going to the temple today. Yeah, there's traffic going in and out like crazy over there. I never saw that before. Go figure. All right, now that we have everything figured out, let's visit the temple. And I'm full of energy still, which is great. So here is one of the signs I was talking about. Just pointing, pretty clear, isn't it? And I can't read it, of course, but I'm sure it's saying temple this way. And if you miss that one, you've got these 2 right up here. Are they still in frame? I think they are. 2 more signs pointing to this temple, and there's clearly a road right over there. So it's just one of those strange things that, like most things in life, if you don't know, things can be really complicated. Then once you do know, it's so simple. It's just so obvious. It's like, now that I know, it's perfectly obvious. But I missed these signs completely. And this is what I was facing last time. You know, items like this, and there's no way you're riding your scooter over gravel piles like that. And I just could not find the road. Looks like there's an intersection up here, so I may have to do a Google Maps check whether to go straight or turn left. I think I have to go left. And there is a sign there. So there's another sign. And yeah, I'm going to do a little map check to see whether I should go left or right, or left or straight. Find a flat piece of ground where I can park my scooter for a map check. Good thing I did a map check, because going straight, which was my instinct, is completely wrong. In fact, I have to turn left here, and then this road actually leads, according to Google Maps, and I don't trust Google Maps anymore, at least not where this gravel pit is concerned. According to Google Maps, it will lead into a whole bunch of little roads. I have to go that way, past the gravel quarry, link up with another road, and then I turn right towards the temple in that direction. So we've gotten oriented, so I think I know where I am and where I need to go. But again, looking at Google Maps, it still looks like you could go through the quarry and get out the same way as this road. But maybe that's the secret. You can't go through the quarry to get to that road. You've got to go down this little road here on the left. So, yes. Little things make me so happy. Like a little mapping success is such a big deal in my life. At least now I know where to go. I have to say, I'm really enjoying this 2-camera setup. It is so much fun having Armando here on the back and then GoPro number 1 on the front. And so far my brain is able to process having 2 cameras running at the same time. I'm sort of keeping track of both of them, and I know what's going on with both of them. So that's kind of cool. I was worried that my brain wouldn't be able to handle it on top of everything else I'm thinking about these days. But yeah, it's working out great. So let's fire up the scooter and get back on the road. We don't have far to go, I don't think. The throaty roar of 125 cc's of power. So this road I have to go down, it's pretty small, which I like. It's nice being on small roads. And I'll be very interested to see what happens as I go past the gravel quarry. Hello. It's so nice back here, heading into the countryside again. Oh. There's an interesting house. Young girl hiding behind the pole. Climbing up into the house. I'm always fascinated where people end up living. Because there isn't a piece of land on the whole planet, really, where there isn't somebody living there. And I often wonder, how did they end up there? So, I think this road right here on my left, this is the road out of the gravel quarry that you're supposed to follow if you follow Google Maps. But I couldn't find this exit. I was blocked by all those buildings and gravel piles. So this is clearly the better way to go. Got some people listening to music over there. Oh, it looks like a pool hall. Oh no. Some children playing. Just passing through a small village. Yeah, I'm remembering all of this from my my last trip, because last time I was here, that's where I was. I was on the other side of those piles of gravel, and that's why I couldn't find my way through. Clearly, there is no way to get through that on a scooter. Well, they have a nice field here, big flat field, soccer pitch. So funny. Once you know how to get to a place, it seems so easy and obvious, as I said. But if you don't know, then it is not obvious at all. Oh, there's the temple. Beautiful sighting of it. Right over there. Wow. What a day trip for the end of the year. Nice. I thought maybe you would get a view of the town of Mae Sot, but it's sitting here inside this valley. So I guess you get nice views of the valley. But I think there's also, you can climb up to a lookout point on the right there somewhere. Oh, nice. Oh, here's another road leading out of the quarry. So maybe I could have found that road eventually, and that also gets you out. Maybe when I come back, I'll drive in there and see. But no need right now. Getting very close to the temple. The entrance is just ahead of me, and you can see some of the stupas on the left there. I'm not sure if it is a tradition to visit a temple on the last day of the year, because of course a Buddhist temple would be following a different calendar. This would not technically be the end of the year for them. It's one thing about living in Asia, you end up with so many different calendars, because they do follow the Western Gregorian calendar that we use in Canada, with the typical days for New Year and New Year holiday. But then they have a Buddhist calendar as well, and then I'm sure there's a Hindu calendar and many other calendars. So here's the entrance to the temple compound. There's a sign here with tantalizing information, but it is all in Thai. I will zoom over here and capture it on the GoPro. There's a sign, 1407. Could that be a year that this temple was founded in 1407? Could be. And there's a little parking lot just inside, so it'd be a convenient place to put my scooter. No, maybe not. That looks like a kind of private property. Look at that. I think the GoPro is getting most of that in the frame. I assume we'll be able to climb up there. Look at that tree at the very top. Isn't that amazing? Trees growing out of rocks are always fascinating things. Still not clear to me what to do with the scooter. I see a lot of signs and they might say parking this direction, but again, we are in the land of Thai and I can't read them. But I think the people that just passed me parked their car over here. So I will take a chance and leave my scooter here and hope it's okay. Well, now I'm gonna have to take a few minutes and change the batteries in the GoPros, 2 GoPros, and figure out how to carry them around. I kind of worked out a system for 2 GoPros on the scooter, but the best way to use 2 cameras walking around a temple, yeah, have some fun with that.